What's going on, everybody? We are back. It's your friend Will. This is the Memory Lapse, and this is the 5th volume and potentially final for now for this season of Diamond in the Rough. It's a little bit of a cheat Friday cheat day because I think this deck is actually good. I've played it a little bit off the record, and I think I'm like about 10-7 with it, kind of over the last couple days. Probably threw a couple games away there, so it's definitely a positive win rate deck, and this is the current version I'm on. So this is a no fog Nexus build that wins by flipping Primal Amulet and looping Nexus of Fates until you can play Chromium and you attack them. So this is a super streamlined, all in on the various cantrips in the format. And that's the one thing that I've been tweaking is kind of the mixing and matching of these. So the most recent change was going from 4 Anticipate to a 2-2 split, so that we have the Dispersal option in here, and a little bit of sweeps, and a lot of life gain. So let's just jump right into it. The deck kind of explains, or is pretty self-explanatory. And anyone who's familiar with like the fog decks knows what we're going to be trying to do here. I'm not sure, I can't remember if I played this in a video. I think I may have like a week or two ago. Or maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Oh, and right away we're met with kind of a tough one. Kind of hard to mulligan any hand with an amulet, but double Nexus of Fate and no cantrips seems pretty tough. And they kept. So if anyone's been watching the spoiler, without getting into too much detail, because I don't know if there's anyone who's intentionally not spoiling themselves, but there's quite a bit of hype, I think, for decks like this and like Fog, basically anything that uses Nexus of Fate. With the new green enchantment, I think it's called Wilderness Reclamation, that's going to let you untap all your lands at the end of every turn. The reason being, the reason that card fits this so well. Alright. So I'm guessing they're actually on a Nexus build if they're playing this. The reason that card fits this archetype so well is because it lets you do what we do with Teferi already, which is float mana, untap in your end step, and then untap lands, and then float more mana to play things like Nexus earlier than you normally could, but it does it to an even greater degree. So it's definitely something that we're going to be brewing with once we have access to the cards next week. We're just going to hold our Negate here, take the 1. The one thing I like about this build over the Fog build is I actually think it has a little more action against these control decks. We're able to squeeze some Negates into the deck, and if you flip an Amulet, they really can't beat you. So having these 2 Negates here is a nice backup. Alright, so yeah, they're probably not on a Nexus of Fate build. They're just playing this as a blocker. Alright, Conjecture. To get back Expansion, Explosion. I guess we're just going to negate that. We're not under any pressure, so this Revitalize undoes 3 turns of Sailor of Means attacking. Interesting that they're playing Temporary Conjecture, though. Alright, so So there's the Nexus, the Primal Amulet. So the way we probably have to play this is to go for an end of turn Nexus once we have 7 lands, so next turn. See how they respond to that. Because if they burn a counter, then we can untap Primal Amulet with Negate backup. We'll make the assumption that they won't have any way to remove or resolve Primal Amulet other than Teferi. We don't want to cycle this Revitalize here. So if we negate this, they have no... This is a little risky. We need to draw like one more. Yeah, we should need to do it like this. We go Primal Amulet. Unfortunately, it needs 4 counters to flip, which means we're not going to flip it this turn. So they're giving us the turn here. We're going to find more land. Wow, okay, they're escape. I guess they know what we're up to. So we're going to get 1 counter there, draw 2, untap, and we were going to play Revitalize and jumpstart both of our other draw spells and flip it, and then, unless they had a way to remove the land, we were just going to take turns. Looks like they were also a little frustrated missing land drops, which is understandable. On the play, I like this a lot. We have Search, Anticipate Discovery, and Settle with Amulet. So one of the advantages of this build versus Fog is that people can misread you. Another one of these. Diamond is weird. I'm so polarized between people playing mono white and mono red, or people trying to make control work. Alright, so they keep. We do want to flip this. I think we're going to want Negate in this matchup. So yeah, we're not going to jam Amulet into a counterspell. We'll probably go for an end of turn Anticipate here. As much as I want to hold them for Primal Amulet, I think we need to flip Search. We're probably not going to have an opportunity to play this for a while. Yeah, we're just going to take a land. the graveyard purely for considerations of trying to flip. So 5, we can opt on their turn 6 if we use the Negate 7 to get the flip then. So if they try to just like naked jam it's a fairy here, we'll be in an okay spot. Cool, so we push both our Novas away. Unfortunately, we want that. I could have gone for Amulet there thinking backup, but it creates too much opportunity for them to then play Teferi, which is just scary. Ooh, wow. I wonder how many of these they have. So this makes me feel like we're going to need to play Amulet and flip it all in one turn. In their turn, I think I'll just play Settle the Wreckage here to get the 7th card into the graveyard. Oh, it did not give me that opportunity. Alright, so we'll graveyard that. Alright, so from here we're going to be activating Azcanta and pushing to find another Negate. Finding Nexuses and starting to try to make Nexuses on the end of their turn. And just keep thinning our deck. Because right now, like with this, we have the Inevitability Engine. They've been to Teferi. They haven't shown us any counter magic yet, but we really haven't played much. This is maybe going to tip them off as to what we're trying to do. But we're just going to keep making land drops. This we're going to hold, because it's going to help us make a quick flip. So we just need to collect a couple more cheap ones, or like what we really need to find is a radical idea that'll give us 2 counters, and then we'll be pretty much there. So the only thing we really care about is fighting against Teferi, or potentially Niv-Mizzet. Looks like they're short a red source, and unclear if this type of build would have Niv-Mizzet in it. We might find out right now if they shock that. Yeah, so they do have Niv-Mizzet. Looks like Nexus. Now we can take some pings. Alright, let's just see if they have a Negate. They don't. I think the good news here is that we're going to be able to flip with these negates. Hopefully we'll have some kind of interaction. And the question is just going to be, once we flip, we need to find this Dispersal or Cleansing Nova. So we're going to have to flip and shuffle our library, and then I guess we have 23 life to play with to find an answer to this visit, because we can't go off permanently with that in play. It eventually kills us. Okay. I don't think we're activating the Azcanta here. We're just looking for more. One mana things. Double break, not good. They have to discard at least. Discard another Teferi. I guess we take this opportunity to try to resolve a second amulet. So we're going to try to fight over this purely to flip this one. So we got the flip. They have blink. That is super sad for us. Alright, all this is fine. What matters is that we're flipping. Unsurprisingly, they had a grip of resources. No, unfortunately for us, though, we do not have a very good punish here. Because we don't have the mana to cast this Nexus. But we'll see what they do. We'll see if they attack or not. If they attack, we'll go for the Settle, because getting it off the board is going to be huge. And getting them to use some mana will help us, like if we can get both halves of Nexus of Fate. Resolves. It's a little bit irrelevant at this point. My gut is that they're not going to attack. And our preference is definitely that they don't attack, because I would much rather. Yeah. Alright. Let's find some good ones. A second Nexus of Fate is good. Revitalize is also good. Negate is also good. But I think we want the second Nexus here. Because I think what we want to have is enough to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Enough to twin cast a Nexus. See, this auto tapper is gonna, it's coming for us. 4, 5, 6, 7. For whatever reason. So this is important because it shuffles the deck. It's also very hard for them to counter both halves of this. Looks like they're not countering either half of it. And then we look. I guess we take Revitalize here, because we're going to want the life. But this turn, we're just going to take 2 more turns. You can see that we're going to start stacking turns over here. Honestly, if we can gain enough life, we can probably mill them out. Yeah, we don't even have to worry about, because this is not an optional thing. So let's start setting that up as a backup plan. Alright, but Dispersal is here. That's exactly what we needed. We have a couple turns in the bank. So we'll twin cast Dispersal to get the Nexus off the board. They kind of have to go find a way to kill us here. If they counter both of these, I think we're okay, because then they're going to be completely tapped out. We have a gain 6 here next turn. And then we're still drawing to Nova. Again, we're in like a pretty good position here because we have 2 more turns banked. So even if they counter, there's no way they're going to kill us here, right? There's no punish if they counter both halves of this. Alright, so there's 1 half countered. Now they have to have exactly like Negate. Looks like they're just trying to get as much damage on us as possible. Sunday Visit's gone. Spin the wheel. Take a Nexus. We don't have to do this yet, but let's see. 1, 2. Yes, because we still have the reduction here. Alright, stack 2 more turns. Let's try to play this quickly now for the sake of our opponent. They have just this. So, get Chromium into play. Chromium's a nice 3-turn clock that they can't really interact with. Yeah, and you can see we had turns stacked over here. So let's see, just to show again, I think we're playing 3 negates. I think I landed on 3. Yeah, I think 3 is a really good number to have. It makes it really hard for those matchups to beat you long game. It was also by playing things like Revitalize. Unless you show them like the game 4 life, or yeah, unless you show them like Ritual, like you really don't read as anything other as Esper control until it's a little too late for them. Alright, so here's a potentially tough one. But we have some life gain. Then the question I guess is going to be, do we start gaining life this turn? Yeah, it looks like we might have to. We might have to hold off on the search. Take 4, yeah. I think we can't play the search until we find a Wrath of some kind. Jeez. Yep. That's why. This could be a really quick one if we don't find a sweeper. On the draw, like that, the one downside of this versus Fog, and though I think actually Fog does have the same issue, is that on the draw sometimes you just are going to get crushed by like a run out like this, where they are just swinging for that much on turn 3. It's just too much for this deck to handle, unless we find Wrath, because it looks like we're probably dead next turn, right? Yeah. So we need to find exactly Settle the Wreckage right now. Nope. So the upside being is super quick. Got a little unlucky to draw both Nexuses there. Like usually you play 4 sweepers in between the opts and the cantripping life gain spells and stuff. It's not too hard to find one. You saw we had a lot of access to them in the last game. But when you're put on having it turn 4 and dying, even after you gain 7 life, it's just not gonna... It's hard to win those. Even Fog would have probably lost that matchup because you would need to have runner, Fog with land drops. It's pretty unrealistic. Alright, so we have Radical Idea to help us flip the Amulet. If these red decks have a hard time once you flip an Amulet, like, and gain 8 life, it's pretty tough. Again, sweepers help. Let's see what they show us here. Runaway Steam Kit. We're going to need a sweeper at some point, so we'll cycle there. Second Amulet, not a great draw. They're only getting it for 1 though. Alright, they're going to throw some burn at us, I see. So tricky. So misleading. Oh, weird. Really weird sequencing by them. Gain the life, draw the card. I guess this turn, I was playing Amulet. They can do 3 to us here. Looks like they have a Wizard's Lightning. Just 2. See what they do second main phase here. Do they make mana? Alright, Frenzy. Nice. Gotta love it when they play Frenzy and get immediately rewarded. So the 2 choices are, we have 8 life and draw 3 here. I think playing the second Amulet's too greedy. That's a nice draw. So this Fog's probably 10 damage this turn. And puts a counter on the Amulet. So as long as they don't burn us out here, we're okay. Wow. Alright, let's gain 8. Alright. So we should be in an okay spot here. To draw our card. We get Play Watery Grave. And we'll just sit back. Unfortunately, we need to find some more card draw. We hope that they do like a small attack here and not if they attack the whole board, that's fine. But we also need them not to have like all the burn. Wow. Cool top of deck. Alright, looks like they're done. Alright, I guess we settle here because there's a reasonable chance that we can go off next turn. And this 4 life might make a difference. Because they can also use this mana out of second main phase, break Experimental Frenzy, and who knows what they have in their hand. The downside being we shuffled their deck, so if the top of the deck was really dead, we just help them. They're actually going to burn us out for 15 here. So sick. Just hit a land. Just hit a land and let us have our fun. Alright, this is kind of a break. Except that they still have all this mana. Thank you. I know that was a lot to ask. Anticipates a great draw here. This will help us get to more Nexi next turn. So obviously we cannot give them another turn. Alright, so turn 1. I guess we're playing Amulet. Twin casting, Anticipate. Late game spells are good too. Nova's good. I think we take Revitalize though, because I still don't think we can give them a turn. Looks like we might break. Alright, well this is going to flip the second Amulet. Which means the second half of this Radical Idea becomes a draw too. We're just doing what we can to find the Nexus here. Top of our deck being not nearly as kind as our opponents last turn, jeez. They're near 15 points of burn. Wow. Yeah, we just break into nothing. Alright, well, that's how you lose. Didn't even run her into another draw spell. I thought we were going to win that one. I think we definitely could have won that one if our opponent had given us one more turn, but that frenzy turn was pretty unreal from them. And if we had not settled, we probably were dead. This is pretty bad. Yeah, we have no blue. We have our win condition in our hand, which is actually not good. This is better. Yeah, that one really looked like a winner, so it was a little disappointing to lose it. Alright, hopefully this is a deck that Hunting Noble will be good against. Looks like it could be. This is promising. Oh, if it's like Angels. Angels might be a little slow against us. In fact, we might even just like hold. Some of our cantrips here. Alright, do I need the health? Let's hold back the planes. Maybe induce them to add something else to the board this turn. Like Aurelia. Nope, no Aurelia. Danto Vanguard is a little bit of trouble. Settle is going to be good here. Nexus is good, Negate's good. Well, I still think we wrap this board because this is 12 damage. Alright, so this Negate might not be needed in this matchup. Potentially we're just going to throw it away to Chemister's Insight here. Shy. Yep, also fine. So what we need is cards. Cards that do things. So this is exactly 10. Yeah, we're in a weird one. We're not finding the cards that do things. And I don't think playing Nexus here is right. If they have any way to pump their creatures... we're in trouble. Another Nova would be pretty good here. Alright, Revitalize is okay. So I think we are going to gain 7 on their turn. Hopefully that's good enough. As long as they don't have a Banefire. Which is a scary thing to say, because my history of immediately losing the Banefire when I say that on recording is not good. Ooh, they're respecting Settle the Wreckage here. 3, 6, 7. That's great for us. 8, 9. Interesting that they respected Settle the Wreckage with Shalai in play. Alright, just keep digging. We need to find Amulet. Alright, so now next time we can try to start my off. That took a little, potentially too long. So at least we'll have Amulet with Settle the Wreckage. Now look at that. Look, oh, sorry. Look at this. Lyra's okay. Alright, so we can go opt. Radical idea away the fortress. Transform. Take 2 turns. Alright, draw 4. Okay, so we play Chromium here. Yeah, I guess we just draw 4 again. Do we do it on their turn, though? You know what, I guess we opt on our turn. Yes, that's just for this exact reason. Alright. So I think we went +1 or even there. We probably could have done a little bit better if we had beaten that mono red deck, but man, Frenzy is tough. But yeah, I think you can see like this deck plays slower, which is the downside, but the upside is like you really do crush the mid range decks. You really do crush the control decks just because they're not expecting the amulet. The only downside is you are going to get rolled sometimes by really, really, really good aggressive draws, um, which we saw here. So hopefully you enjoyed though. We had some fun games. It's cool going off with this deck. I love the way Amulet works. It's surprisingly quick to win once you get going, unlike Fog, where you have to. I don't know. It just feels like Well, I should say this. It feels like this deck turns the corner harder because taking 2 turns in a row, instead of having to constantly find Nexus and loop it, it gives you that kind of breathing room to untap, like use all your cantrips, like Twin Cast and draw 4. Like there's a lot of upside, I think, to the way this plays out. But yeah, that's it for this one. Time to go get ready for work, get the day started. Hope you all enjoyed. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. And be sure to catch the streams starting potentially today, Friday, but most likely Saturday, Sunday, where we're going to be pushing to Mythic. And then we'll have to decide what to do from there with those days between getting to Mythic and when the new set comes out. So yeah, that's it. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll be back again soon.